Hi, friends. Doc South here, and I just wanted to wish a happy birthday to a person I haven't seen in a long time, but I always thought was a pretty cool fella, and I don't know. I noticed on Facebook it was his birthday. Mike Alexander, Mike Alexander, a decent young fella, and of course now I guess getting up there in age. But when I met him, oh gosh, I don't think he was. Well, he probably had to be around, well, he was in his early teens, I would think, something like that. At one time I used to try to learn to play the banjo. I'd go to classes, they'd lock me in a closet and just, hand me some notes under the door, between the door and the floor, and say, here, try this. I said, can I play loud? They said, no, just keep trying. And I never got good at it. I know I used to, if I wanted to get a machine at the laundromat, I'd bring my banjo and, break it out of the box and start playing. Pretty soon I had my choice of machines in the laundromat down in North Carolina in city of Wilson. I was with the rescue squad and I'd play it there between calls, again in Wilson. I always feared, though, we get a call and I couldn't really wrap the banjo up, put it back in its case and run, time's a wasting. Someone's very ill or hurt or whatever. So I go running out the door, and I always was afraid I'd come back and they'd have my poor banjo in a body bag or something. They never did that. To their credit, no, they never did. They did hide it on occasion, but other than that, no. At least never in a body bag, and no one ever left it where we'd back up over it, back and back into the truck bay. But, I kept trying. Uh, Luckily, after I got back from North Carolina, I was staying with my folks. They had a big enough house I could practice down in the basement. No one could hear me. And, long story short, I never got good at it. That didn't stop me from trying. And so one day I'm playing on the sidewalk out front of my the antique shop I had in Chester, New Jersey, and a guy and his a mother and her son come walking by, excuse me, and they said, "Oh, look at that! You're playing the banjo. Well, that don't sound too bad." I don't know. I was playing, I don't know, nothing to speak of, and I'm sure it was the banjo was out of tune, but the young fella said to God, he says, "I play too sometimes." He says, I said, "Well, heck, you can." And I'm kind of like showing him. I said, "Well, here, this is a C chord." He says, "Yeah, I know that." I said, "What, do you want to play this thing? You're welcome to." I said, "I don't know if it plays that well. It's just an old banjo." And he sits down. Next thing you know, he sounds like he's a regular Grandpa Jones, only young. And he's playing like crazy. And I'm sitting there thinking, "Oh my God, look at this." I said, "How long have you been playing?" "Yeah, I don't know, a few months." His mom said, my son's name is Mikey, and he's very good at this stuff, isn't he? I said, "My God," I said, "I guess." I said, "Keep playing, Mikey." And Mike's playing away. Mom and I are talking. And he had hardly any time at all. And yet, look, oh my gosh. I said, "I think you got a prodigy on your hands here or something." I said, "My heavens, my banjo never sounded so good." I was ready to give it to him, but he had a better one. and like that. And it was, they'd drop by every now and then, and he'd play my banjo some more. And eventually, I guess that was about when I had met Sandy, too, and we were kind of dating. And one day, I don't know, Sandy heard Mikey and said, "My gosh, the kid's great." She says, "There's this thing coming up." She says, she's talking to me now. She says, "Why don't you and I see if we can get Mikey to go up with us?" In fact, I was with the radio, WNTI in Hackettstown, and I think I had Mikey on the show. I pretended the bit was I was going to show Mikey how to play a banjo on the air. And then, like he did on the sidewalk in Chester, he was going to show me up after, half a lesson. Right. And it worked good. It was a good bit. And I don't know, yeah, he dropped by the store, like I said. I don't know how many, if he ever did more than one show with me on the radio. Maybe he did. But we finally, like Sandy said, this thing's going on up along the Hudson River. She says that Pete Seeger attends because it's his organization. Something, I want to call it River Watch, but I may not, the Hudson River Watch. And they do it up near Peekskill. And it's this great event where they have all this folk music and banjo picking and stuff. And maybe Mikey'd like to go and, hear the people, if nothing else. Like, heck, I'm thinking myself, he could probably get a gig playing with some of these folks. And as young as he was. His mom came along. Actually, his mom and him went up separately. Sandy and I went up. We all met. And, we were walking around the grounds and down in a little bit of a valley. Of this beautiful manicured park-like setting on the New York side of on the east side of the Hudson. I think it was New York on either side. There was Pete Seeger just kind of, I guess, hanging out near a picnic table. Sandy saw him, and she says, "Come on, Mikey, let's go meet Pete Seeger." And Mikey says, "Yeah." And I myself said, "Yeah, just don't show him up, Mike, okay? Yeah, we might get evicted." So anyway, they go down, Sandy and Mikey. Maybe the mom, I think mom went too. And they, darned if Pete Seeger didn't have a chat with Mikey. I don't know if they played together. Sandy doesn't recall that they did. But Pete was very gracious, told the aspiring young fella that, what you got to just keep going at it. And, well, Mikey did. Long story short, I guess as years go, Mikey, being a teenager and all, went his separate way, as well he should. Sandy and I, eventually we got hitched and had stores and stuff. But I see where Mikey's still, to this day, playing, all over the place, doing rather well locally. I imagine he's in a band or two, maybe just one, maybe a few. Maybe he does solo. I think he must have some, he's got to have some recordings out. And I was looking on his Facebook page, and darned if he was playing at a bar Sandy and I used to go to, Bernie's in Chester, I guess just the other night. Maybe he's a regular there. I don't know, but I don't really have much knowledge of his career nowadays. But doggone, huh? I don't know. It's fun to see people do things that they loved when they were kids, and they're still doing them as a grown-up. And I honestly, I think Mikey's one of those people. You can hand him an instrument and give him a few hours, and he'll be playing it somehow. I don't know if that works. I know definitely with stringed instruments. I don't know about the rest. But I just wanted to wish him a happy birthday. I always thought he was a pretty cool kid, and doggone, it's like, well, my kids. I've always admired them too. The different things they get into, and it's now that I'm older in dirt, it's fun to see that there's, where you get this stuff in the news and everything about, rotten kids here, miserable kids there, and all that. But actually, there's quite a few good people out there, and believe it or not, some of them are kids, and you'd be surprised how all in due time they do okay for themselves. I see that for Sadie and my upcoming granddaughter coming in about a month now. I'll bet you she's going to grab the old world by the tail too. Anyway, just thought I'd say, Mikey, happy birthday, and God bless. We'll see you later. Bye now, friends.